Hi, it's Dr. Casey, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Dr. Dawn, today. And today, for tea time, we are sipping on some ginger tea, and we serendipitously both made a cup of ginger tea without even talking about ginger tea. So let's get started talking about ginger tea.
Awesome.
All right. So ginger tea is one of my favorite teas to have sometimes after a meal, or just if I feel like I need a little bit of digestion help. And if I want to reduce like a bloating type of feeling, ginger tea is one of my go-tos. It can also be really nice during the menstrual cycle. It can support some of the flow and even cramp reduction. So ginger root, especially here, ginger contains a lot of nice antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, and it can actually reduce things like interleukins that increase inflammation in the body. It can also actually reduce, and there's been a lot of research around this, it can reduce inflammation in the brain by calming down some of the astrocytes, which are types of cells, immune cells in the brain, and it can reduce those being overactivated, and thereby it can help support your cognitive function. So it's a really nice area where it can do some extra benefit. Ginger tea can also help to reduce feelings like nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. And it also actually has some antimicrobial benefits. Now, it's not something that's going to like wipe out all the bacteria at all, but it has terpenes in it that have some nice activity just as kind of a gentle support if you're taking like an antimicrobial blend, or potentially want a little bit of extra enhancement. It can be nice, but the main thing with it is the anti-inflammatory nature of it. And it's used with so many different systems in the body, but it's also used to help reduce things like inflammation that's felt in the joints and the muscles. So can be really nice for that musculoskeletal system. I love the Latin names of things, and the Latin name of ginger is super fun. It's Zingiber officinale, which I just think is so fun because ginger's got like a zing, and Zingiber is fun to say. And then it gets even more fun. So some of the constituents in it that have these medicinal properties, some of their names are gingerols, which are some of the phenolic compounds. They give that fresh ginger, that spicy zinginess. They're called gingerols. And then we also have zingiberine, which is one of those terpenes, those antimicrobials. The ginger, that spicy ginger smell and taste, again, that's the gingerol. When you get dried ginger, it's actually more of the shogal in it. That's less of a fun word to say, but the gingerols and the zingiberine are super fun to say. So I just love this. So Zingiber, let's cheers to the ginger, Dr. Dawn.
Cheers. I love it.
Is
And
there anything you want to add about ginger or what you might use it for potentially?
yeah, well, talking about fun stuff, ginger is always fun. Like whenever you get it in the store, they always have all the different formations. Sometimes they can look like a little person,
Mm.
walking around. They have all the little formations. So the ginger root, when you think of anything that's a root, vegetable there, and as a root, it's really grounding. So even if you don't have it in a tea bag, if you have a little ginger root, you just slice a little bit off and you can put that in some warm water. And
Love
ginger,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And I always like to think in terms of Chinese medicine, warming, and ginger's really warming. So that's that soothing aspect that it can give. It can be really calming, helping digestion because it has that warming factor to it. So it's really nice, especially on a snowy day like it is now in the winter, to have a nice cup of warm tea. And ginger provides that warmth, which is really nice and soothing.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, from a Chinese medicine perspective, because Dr. Don is also a licensed acupuncturist. And so, from that perspective, are there particular herbs that are helpful to add with the ginger? Like, just for example, sometimes I'll do like a little bit of fresh ginger with lemon or a little bit of honey. I know that's a really kind of classic one, but are there other herbs that are helpful to use with ginger from that TCM perspective?
Yeah. So, the two that come to mind when you say lemon and honey, in terms of Chinese medicine, we think about colors. So those are yellow. And the spleen, especially when it's a little sweet, that can also help digestion. Just a little bit of the sweetness can help. And then as a lemon, that citrus can also help. That's that hydrochloric acid. And a lot of times people are, they're deficient in their production of enzymes and hydrochloric acid. So that can really help boost their enzymatic function and their digestion. Turmeric is another one that really helps. That's a nice blend with ginger. And that also has that yellow color to it, which helps, and that's nice, and that's a powerful anti-inflammatory, and that's often a common blend along with the ginger. So I love all of those to choose.
Yeah, and that's so cool about thinking about the color and the I love learning more about that Chinese medicine perspective. It adds such depth to the herbs, really. And that just reminded me, it makes me think of turmeric and ginger are especially nice for that anti-inflammatory benefit, for like, sore joints or things like that.
Mhm.
Really a nice combo there. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
nice.
and there's so many ways also to, whether it be in tincture form or capsule form. So whatever, can work best with someone. There's so many options to take it, but it's always nice to get a nice cup of tea. It's a nice, easy way to get little doses of it also. So,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. So Dr. Dawn is in Long Island, in New York, and she's a wonderful, wonderful doctor there. And she just has such positive energy. So I'd love to hear, Dr. Dawn, maybe one of the places where you draw some inspiration from. I'm sure there are many, but what's one place you draw
Yeah.
inspiration from?
Yeah. Well, actually, you introduced this to me in school. So I have my little corner here. I always use this with patients at the end of their visit. My little a corner of daily affirmations in here. So,
Ah,
resting on this
yay!
book, remember this? The Heal Your Body
A
from
little
Louise
blue
Hay.
book. Yeah.
And so this, here, I'll turn this back around. So this is from Louise Hay, who had created this, Heal Your Body. So this is my fantastic go-to for daily affirmations. So, and sometimes I make them up for my patients also. I'll, create them for them. Sometimes my patients are familiar. I'll always ask, is there a favorite phrase that you like to say? Because these affirmations are meant to empower the healing process, that patients are going through, and their healing journey rather that they're going through. So, if this resonates for the patient, I'll ask them. And what's beautiful is that they list in the book here, it starts with the problem. So let's say the one on top here is abdominal cramps, which ginger root tea is really good at helping. And then it says a probable cause. So I don't always go through this with the patient, but this one with cramps is fear stopping the process. So there's some kind of like halting in what's going on, which can cause that stagnation and then maybe causing the cramps. So it makes sense. And then it's the new thought pattern. So that's what the affirmation is, and I'll read this for patients and if it resonates for them. So this one for abdominal cramps, the affirmation will be, I trust the process of life. I am safe. And sometimes I pick a sentence, I do the combination of sentences. Sometimes a patient will say something during the visit, during my intake, and I'll note that as an affirmation of how it can empower them. They might naturally be saying it already, and I'll just kind of shed some light on it and see if it resonates.
Mhm.
But it's fun. And then these are the little. I like to write it on a card. So sometimes I'll go by a chakra that might need support. So let's say we'll go with the color of digestion. Yellow is the color of the solar plexus and the color of digestion in Chinese medicine. And then I'll get the matching card and I'll write the affirmation on here. I'll write the patient's name on the card, put it together for them, and then they get to take it with them.
Oh, you've got an envelope and a card there?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so nice.
And then I always
Aw.
tell them, it's nice to say out loud in front of the mirror daily. So if they want to put it by the mirror in the bedroom, or if they want to leave it by their bedside and say it in their dresser mirror,
Mm,
or full length mirror, whatever, however it is that resonates for them. And then I always like to ask the patients if it works for them, if they want a new one, or if they like that one. So they're always kind of fun to work with, and something that I like to see the glow on patients' faces when they read them. I still remember the first one I gave to one of my patients in clinic, and she was having some. We were working on supporting her blood pressure, and so I given her the my heart beats to the rhythm of love, and she just skipped out of there singing it, and she loved it. I remember I wanted to switch it up because we were working on another um, condition for her, but she wanted the same one. And I said, hey, whatever works for you, works for you. So it's a beautiful little one. And then I have one of my patients gave me this as a holiday gift. It's one of these calendars. So every day it has not necessarily a daily affirmation, but just like a positive saying or something to think about for the day. And
mm,
today's was in everything, love simplicity. That's just nice. I think it's always nice just to have positive words, positive sayings. It can turn around your day sometimes, and it just puts a nice spin and sends a nice energy out to the universe also. So why not? And you were the one that shared it with me, so I love that. And then Dr. Anderson, remember, she always loved that in clinic, and we're able to use that. So yeah, I still use it in my practice every day. So I love it.
awesome. I love that. I love that. And just talking about grounding, the affirmations can be so grounding for people too, I think. And even just like the positive sayings, if we don't use the term affirmation, like in the calendar that you had as a
Yeah,
gift, like just that grounding nature can be really nice, especially this time of year, I think, with the coldness, and we need that warmth, that
yeah,
grounding.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and with the I'll just mention, because you really alluded to this, but with the affirmations, we do see physical benefits with that too. It's not just mental, emotional realm; it's physical also. And
Mhm.
Louise Hay, who wrote that wonderful little blue book that you have, she really connected the physical, and she did a lot of metaphysical work. So she connected the physical, the mind, the spirit, kind of everything, and gave us so many powerful tools. And her story is really, really beautiful. I think she was around 40 years old when she started Hay House Publishing, which is now probably the biggest, I don't have the statistics, but probably the biggest publisher of like self-improvement types of books,
Mhm.
self-development, that kind of stuff. Really nourishing written words for people. And they do conferences and all sorts of stuff, all sorts of tools to share. And she is just a beautiful, beautiful soul who shared a lot of light with the world. And
Yeah, they're
now,
definitely
it's that
continuing on.
ripple effect.
Mhm. Yeah, they definitely continue on her legacy there,
Yeah.
which is really nice. Yeah, and the key is that when you're saying these affirmations, positive sayings, that you believe them also,
Mhm.
so you don't want to reach too far. So there's always ways to customize the sayings to everyone the way that it fits for them. Yeah, I love
Definitely.
it. One of my favorite things.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, you are awesome. I want to ask you another quick question.
Mhm.
Are there any favorite health tips for the winter? Just anything at all, whether it's like from skin health to like that we talked about digestive support a little bit with ginger, but anything at all for winter time support.
Well, what's really nice and relaxing, and we talked about with heat. So I love using the castor oil pack,
Mm,
and we have a roll on here, which makes it a little bit easier for patients. So speaking of, because it works in two powerful ways. So one is being an anti-inflammatory. So the constituent in the ricin and in the castor oil, and castor oil is really viscous, how it can be. So the roll on makes it a little bit easier, but in order to absorb into the tissue, we need the pressure to push on it. So it's always nice, and that's always a nice feeling in the winter to feel like hugged and feel that pressure to help. And so I always tell patients if they want to put a nice little non-electric heat source over it. And there's different ways you can put it if you're feeling a little, cramping or, and it can help for movements. If you're feeling a little tenderness, it can help to tonify and strengthen. If we're working on detox, you can always put it over your liver on the upper right hand portion of the abdomen. And then put a little bit of pressure. If you want to use a heat source, you could put a belly band or a book on top of it. And then just relax there, 20 to 40 minutes. And it's really nice and soothing. It's nice to do on a nice winter night before bed. It can help your parasympathetic nervous system because it taps into that vagus nerve with that applying that pressure. It really helps you to relax and get a nice sound sleep. So it's good for any season, but especially in the winter because you can use that heat and it's really nice. It's nice and warming. You can have a cup of ginger tea before it or, afterwards, whatever makes you feel good. So all that stuff is nice.
That sounds beautiful. That sounds like a really nice nightly ritual for the winter time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
it
you
is. It's one of
for
my
sharing.
favorite things to recommend, and it helps in all sorts of ways.
Mhm,
So it's gentle and effective.
mhm. Yeah.
Something that's easy enough that can be done every day. So whatever works into anyone's schedule.
Aw,
Yeah,
beautiful. Oh, well, thank you for that tip, and thank you for sharing all of your wisdom. Well,
sure.
a snippet of your wisdom, I should say, not all of your wisdom during this tea time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun. It was good
Yeah,
talking
thank
to
you
you.
for being here. And I'm amazed that we both chose ginger tea without talking about it at all. So I think that's just
That
serendipitous,
was really
as is we have that connection, I guess, the sisterhood.
yeah. I
But
was looking for one. Mine didn't have this was an organic one, lifestyle awareness it is. But some of them, I like the tea bags because they'll come with little affirmations on them. I think
mm,
Yogi Tea always has that.
yeah.
So,
When I used to work long ago in financial services, I started drinking this tea. Um, and I had the little like affirmations or the positive sayings, whatever they were. I had them lined up across my computer
mhm.
so that they would remind me kind of to stay centered when I was trying to decrease stress. I really love those.
I remember you used to have that at school, and then they would like fall out, and you'd be like, "Oh, someone needs to read this."
Oh, I
Remember?
don't even remember that.
I remember that. I
Awesome.
remember you used to have that.
I
I
guess
think
I
maybe
just
you had
carry
them
them
on a
with
little
me.
piece of tape, or you had them like, always in your keyboard. I remember that in your
Oh, you
laptop.
know what? I did. I kept because I carried my laptop around, and so they when I closed it, they would just stay right in there. And yeah, it's awesome. And then one pulls out, someone needs to see it.
Yep.
Awesome. Love it. Well, on that note, I want to say a cheers to you again across the sound. Yay. Mhm.
Aw.
And happy tea drinking. If you enjoyed watching this, go make yourself a cup of ginger tea if you haven't already. And I will see you next time for tea time. Thank you, Dr. Dawn.
Bye. Thank you.